Hello everyone, this is Gabriel and this is the Rise Atlantis show. So today is the first day we're starting off where we start at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. It'll be 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Western Standard Time. I had to change the time to start the show an hour ahead because every day when I get out of work, I didn't have enough time to start the show. So now I have about an extra 40 seconds to relax. And because I was always rushing everything last minute. So now I have more breathing room, so I have more time to better prepare the show, So we have moved the show to 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and 7 p.m. Western Standard Time. And the topic for today will be about meteors and how they've been increasing and how it relates to prophecy. My theory is that God is bringing these asteroids in to wake the world up, but he is not planning to injure or kill anyone. He's just planning to get the world's attention to wake up and repent because his return is near. Very, very near. I am serious when I say this. Jesus' return is very, very near, and I believe it is this year. So, the first news story we'll get into is celebrity psychic in Russia forecast 2008. Let's see here. His name is Alexander Sheps. Was the winner of what would be our favorite TV show if we ever lived in Russia, called Battle of the Psychics. We need that here in America. Let's see here. Let's see what else. Sheps was actually part of a celebrity couple with an Estonian witch named Marilyn Carroll. So his mom is a celebrity Estonian witch. Now maybe she's a good witch. A lot of the word witch gets taken in a bad word, But if she's if she's for God, then she's okay. I mean, I don't know why they still call themselves witch, Maybe a sorceress. A sorceress is better. I know the Bible still talks a lot against sorcerers and sorcery, but this kind of magic is different because this summoning apparitions from God is not sorcery. It is magic from God. It is not us performing the magic. It is not us making the apparitions appear. It is God. We are basically the conduits of Christ. We are the divine middlemen. We are the ones that make it happen. We are God's mediums. So I don't think she should call herself a witch, but a lot of different countries have their own cultures. And a lot of those cultures, they keep the same words around, like witch and sorcerer and sorceress. So I wish she didn't call herself a witch, but, And then, let's see here. The high-profile psychic pairing split over the summer, leading one Russian outlet to lament that they were the most extraordinary couple. And who are they talking about? They're talking about the psychic, what's his name? Alexander Sheps and his mom. Okay, his mom. No, wait. I think I got that wrong. It turns out Marilyn Carroll, the witch, is actually Shep's wife. So it's actually his wife, not his mom. Okay, so they were a couple and they wanted to do the show together, but the show said no, only one, and they chose Alexander Sheps. So totally, that's how it is a lot of times in shows. They only choose certain people, you know. Maybe because she was calling herself a witch, maybe the show, the network saw that it's too controversial. You know, I mean, this guy, Alexander Sheps, isn't calling himself a sorcerer, a warlock, you know. So, and I like to say it off, I believe all magic is fake through illusions, you know. I believe the only person that's ever able to perform magic was Jesus Christ himself. Now, if I were to find someone with actual magical abilities, it may blow my mind. I've never, you know, I'm not talking about just people that mind read. I'm talking about people that can make stuff appear out of thin air, you know, do stuff that is theoretically, physically impossible, you know. So, again, they have all kinds of tricks up their sleeves. They have screens that mirrors and it looks like there's nothing there when really they're hiding something there. So there's all kinds of ways they can perform illusions. Like David Copperfield made the Statue of Liberty disappear using mirrors. He just turned them in and there it was. Poof, gone. But the people from behind still saw it there. You know, so it's things like that, you know. So, this guy, Alexander Sheps, he said that the relationship between the United States and Russia will get worse to the point that something serious may happen, and that the Ukraine will resolve their conflict. He said that this would happen in 2018. So something big is going to cause a rift between America and Russia, bigger than the rigging scandal, the collusion. You know, me personally, I don't believe there's collusion. You know, I don't choose any side. I stay neutral on politics. You know, so he says something serious is going to happen between Russia and America this year, and that Ukraine will resolve their conflict. It's crazy because Putin and the Russian government still haven't gave the land of Crimea back to Ukraine that Russia stole. They stole a whole lot of land, buildings, weapons, tanks, military vehicles, you know, and people have died. Ukrainian people have died, you know. Putin has blood on his hands. That's why God sent a meteor into Russia to wake Putin up and to have him repent. And I'm making this prediction here. I'm not saying for certain, but a curse may strike Putin if he doesn't repent. One of the things my mom likes to talk about is she's read a lot into it, is Russia needs to be consecrated. That it is one of the last countries that has not been consecrated. Basically, that means the Catholic Church, along with Christian Church, moving in to reform it and make it more spiritual for God. And Russia has been like pushing it away. They've been not been opening up to it as much. They've been suppressing religion. Not 100%, but a good 70-80%. That's where the term Russia needs to be consecrated comes in. So, could it be have something to relate to that? I think so. You know? Let's see here. Let's see here. This other psychic, female named Vera Lyon. Is she a female? Let me double check. Yes. Vera Lyon, again in Russia. She's another psychic. And she says this year we'll see improved relations between Russia and the United States, putting her in direct conflict with the champion psychic Alexander Sheps. So we have two people conflicting different predictions this year. Let's see here. This girl, Vera Lyon, she also provided more information detailing predictions, including them. Let's see if I spell this right here. Mikhail Gorbachev. Now, that's not the same Gorbachev from the past, where, who was it that said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall? I believe the first George Bush. That's not the same one. It could be, but I doubt it. Maybe. Who knows? Let's see. So if that's the same one, it says he will die this year and that countries will leave the UN and NATO. So let's see what happens. So that's really interesting. We need that in America and all around the world. We need psychic TV shows, like a game show, the battle of the top psychics, you know? I mean, we need a whole revival in America, you know? Okay, next story. Ghost monk photographed at castle in England. A ghost monk. I don't want to put the whole video here. It looks like a shadow. See that shadow there? So it's a shadow that appeared. The monk is supposedly a boy monk. A child, not an adult. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, so next story. Prophets in Zimbabwe. Prophets in Zimbabwe enlist dwarfs to impersonate evil goblins. Now, what kind of religion worships hideous, monstrous goblins? You know, they said that the gargoyles supposedly represented security and safety, that they would ward off evil spirits by how fierce and tough and angry looking they were. But it's weird because gargoyles look demonic, so a lot of people say it could have been a conspiracy that the Catholic Church at that time tried to deceive everyone by allowing weird statues like this in. It's very hard to debate it all, you know? I mean, if you look into Revelation, weird stuff is described, that God has four creatures with eyes all around, even on its wings, and one looks like half human, half bird. One looks like half human, half lion. One's half human, half something else, and the other one also. And then they have eyes all around, everything, just eyes all around, and they move, and it looks weird, you know? It sounds weird. And a lot of people make fun of it. They say, oh, what John was saying in Revelation, he was just on hallucinogenic mushrooms. But that's not true, because he talks about signs, like example, the mark of the beast, and how I see it happening is the mark of the beast could be the half human and half animal hybrids, the mark of the beast, you know. And the whole reason behind it is those that don't have the mark will be seen as against the new species of hybrids and human cloning. Those that do have the mark of the beast will be seen as peaceful with them. So everyone that doesn't have the mark of the beast will be secluded, will be forced to live indoors in not really prisons, but holding facilities. So basically, instead of people being trapped in prisons that don't have the mark of the beast, they're going to be held in giant warehouses, sleeping on cottages and on the floor and stuff. It's not going to be like everyone in cells and stuff like that. But they are going to be trapped inside, and they won't be able to leave. And with technology, they may be able to see what's going on in the world through webcams and the internet. But the new species in the future that's coming, the hybrids, when they impose their new world order to allow human cloning around the world, they may even try to not allow the internet in these warehouses where everyone that doesn't have the mark of the beast will be in. So will Jesus return before all the persecution of all the Christians being thrown in to empty Walmarts? Could that be what Jade Helm is about? Could that be why Walmarts are closing down? They say it's also to throw illegal immigrants that are sneaking in, to throw them in there instead of prisons. And remember what that guy, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, did for over like 10, 15 years? He had people in blistering heat, sleeping in tent prisons, outdoors. They were being stung by mosquitoes constantly, with flies on them all the time, with roaches, flying roaches, spiders. It goes on and on. Scorpions. They were being stung left and right. And they would have to endure sleeping in the rain, living out in the rain. They tried having like little tarps on top of them, but the rains would come in from the sides. You know how when it rains, it goes diagonal. So they had to endure so much freezing cold weather, sleeping out there at night every day, and blistering heat, sleeping out there every night. They had to endure so much abominable treatment that was so wrong that Joe Arpaio should have been thrown in prison. He should have at least been given 10 years, equal to the time he treated these I wouldn't even call them illegal immigrants. I would say border crossers. No one is illegal, you know. So I believe it was wrong how Trump pardoned Joe Arpaio, but there are good things Trump does. So, you know, like again, I'm not bashing Trump. I'm not choosing sides here, you know. I'm just saying Trump shouldn't have pardoned Joe Arpaio. And God knows the abomination that Joe Arpaio did. And his curse is coming upon him. He thinks he got away scot-free for the most, what's the word called? The most egregious forms of inhumane treatment. He thinks he got away with it. Little does he know his curse is soon at hand. God is going to be placing curses on blasphemous people and people who pretend to be good when they're not. Hypocrites, you know. So, getting back to these facilities that they're going to throw people in later on. People say that's just science fiction. It was prophesied in the Bible. It says, if you don't take the mark of the beast, they will hunt you down. They will throw you in prison or even kill you. It was straight from God himself. And I'm not sure if Jesus said it. I'm not sure. But, you know, Prophet John on Patmos that wrote Revelation, he wrote stuff that is really coming to pass. So, you know, this was not a fluke of the imagination. He was really seeing true visions. And he was not asleep when he saw it. He was actually seeing it appearing in the clouds above him. God was using the clouds as a canvas to paint the visions that Jong was seeing, you know? So, all that's coming, man. It's really going to happen. A lot of people see it like, oh, that's hundreds, thousands of years off. Do you realize how fast science and technology keeps evolving? Invisibly and fast. With the junkyard piled in the junkyard of lost invention. Okay, so back to this here. Now it's weird. Prophets, false prophets, are using dwarfs to impersonate goblins that haunt the prophets. Okay. Let me see if I get this right here. The prophets claim to cure children of mental illnesses. The men were able to plant colorful trinkets inside their victims' homes and then act deeply disturbed when the items were discovered. Let me see if I read this right here. What? Look at this. Let me see if I get this right here. Supposedly the goblins were telling the people there that they would kill their children unless the frightened parents purchased 20 cattle from the prophets for a fee of $7,000 each. Can you believe that? They were trying to take the people's children, kidnapping them, holding them for ransom, and telling them that the only way they could get their children back is by spending $7,000 on a cattle each. This was in Zimbabwe, Africa. That supposed prophets were using dwarfs to act as goblins to hold children for ransom, demanding money from people. $7,000 each from 20 cows. Can you believe it? You know? And it's crazy, and it keeps getting crazier and crazier, you know? This is not fake news. This is real news here, you know? And it's crazy, man, because I just wonder what's going to happen next, you know? Upon collection of the funds, the three men subsequently made off with the money and never returned with any cattle, leading McKenzie to realize that he had been scammed. Fortunately, authorities were able to track down one of the ne'er-do-wells and charged him with fraud, but his cohorts, including the improper goblins, remain at large. So these are false prophets here. They're not at a level of craziness of a false prophet as Rayel is. Now, I'm not calling him crazy and evil. I'm just saying he doesn't know the truth. We know the truth. I'm not bashing him. I'm just saying, you know, I hope we can work together here and bring our creator, whoever he is. So Rayel says the creators are extraterrestrial monster-looking creatures. Actually, he describes them as Asian, but they have big heads, long necks, and all. And they're short. And he says some are green and gray. So he says those are the gods. We as Christians, Catholics, believe that God is made of pure spirit and that Jesus is returning to bring us into a resurrection of our spirits back into human bodies without human cloning. So I hope us Christians can work together with Rayel and his followers, the Rayelians, and have a meeting of the minds and talk peacefully and what's the word? Not to debate. Basically, to debate peacefully. You know, we should not bash him and his followers. We should just try to have a meeting of the minds, basically. So a healthy debate is what we need, and it needs to be allowed on CNN, HLN, MSNBC, Fox News. The talk of human cloning needs to be allowed on the news. For too long, the men in black have been silencing this topic. So, it's 8:25. We'll go ahead and speed up the news here. Ford patents autonomous police car concept. Can you believe it? As if robot cops aren't bad enough. You know, like RoboCop. You know. Now we're going to have autonomous cop cars. You know, it's getting so absurd. It's just getting so absurd. I wonder what's going to come next, you know. They really want to push that through, you know. Autonomous cop cars. It's getting crazy. Let's see here. This next story. First ever evidence that mosquitoes can be trained. So, you know, they're working to create hybrid mosquitoes that are, one, killing themselves off to depopulate mosquitoes. And two, they're also training them to not bite people. So, you know, they're trying to alter the mosquitoes. Could that have a negative effect? What if it creates diseases in people? You know, the bees that are going missing. Could it be something going on like this? You know? Mesmerizing footage captures the ebb and flow of 10,000 starlings in Ireland as they gracefully blanket the sky in perfect harmony. I believe I had showed this picture before, but this looks like a different one here. Let's see here. Okay, what happened here? Basically, of like 10,000 birds, all were following together to form one giant-looking bird, you know, and it's kind of resembles kind of resembles the bird that I saw freezing midair. Now there's no way to go back to it. What happened here? Oh my god. This website doesn't even let you go back. I'm not gonna say which one because I don't want to blast it. Anyway, so there's no way I could go back to that. So it's on there on Google if you want to see it. 10,000 birds form one giant bird, you know. So the next one, let's see here. I'm gonna kind of speed up the news here. Try to have it in 20 minutes. Let's see. Casino mogul Steve Wynn, W-Y-N-N, resigns as top GOP finance chairman. Let me just say, I know firsthand experience. I used to play slot machines all the time. You never win. And whatever you do win are small amounts. They are rigged to always have you keep losing. I recommend never play casinos. You know, and even for the people that still do, at least play $20, $30. Never go 40 or more, you know, because they win every time. You just can't win. You know, you just can't win at casinos. Okay, this next story, I saw this morning, like at 1 o'clock when I was about to go to sleep. Bomber in ambulance detonates at Afghan checkpoint. 95 people died. So terrorist blew himself up in an ambulance, killing 100 people. You know, it never ends until Jesus returns, which is happening soon. Jay-Z on mending his marriage to Beyonce. He said, "We chose to break that cycle." Now I heard that he cheated on Beyonce. That song Lemonade was real, where Beyonce was angry about someone cheating on her. I thought it was a publicity stunt, but it turns out that, yeah, Jay-Z really did cheat on her. But supposedly it was at the beginning of their relationship. At the beginning, so, you know, cheating is not good. And just make a plea to everyone out there that's been divorced or having affairs to please stay with the parent of your children. Please stay together for the kids, because there's no greater sadness than the kids that have to suffer through divorce. You know, so I pray all you out there to please stay together for the kids. It means the world to them. Paris remains on flood alert as Seine rises. Now, Seine is a dam over there in the UK. I believe the UK, and it's about to give way, already did give way in parts in Paris. The Eiffel Tower in the background, and there's flooding from a dam that broke, you know. So you hear dams always breaking all the time. They're not meant to hold all that water, you know. I mean, eventually they're all going to give way. So never live by dams, you know. It is not good at all. Okay, we're almost done with the news segment here. Jury convicts man in shooting death of ex-NFL player Joe McKnight. Louisiana man was found guilty of manslaughter in connection with the deadly shooting of former NFL player Joe McKnight. They don't say what team he was on. Jefferson Parish District Attorney said. Authorities say Ronald Gasser. Look at his name, Gasser. Gasser. You see, all these people that do evil things, they all have stupid, weird names. You know, they look weird. They do stupid things. You know, it's just, it boggles my mind. You know, that he killed him in a road rage incident in New Orleans suburb in Terrytown. Gasser said he killed him in self-defense. With what proof? He didn't have video of it. If you kill someone in self-defense, you need to have video showing that that person is coming at you with more than a knife, a gun, and they're shooting at you. That's the only reason you can shoot back in self-defense. You need to have video if you shoot in self-defense. If you don't have no video, you don't have no case and you're guilty. That's how it is. Now, it may not be that way for a court system. A lot of times they still give a pass. Like, look what happened to, what's that guy that killed that kid, you know? There's so many, but, it was, nah, I can't believe I forgot the names, you know? But, you know, I'm pretty sure you know who I'm talking about. The guy who was like a neighborhood watch guy? Yeah, that guy. He got off the hook, man. They didn't do a thing to him. And there was no video that he recorded. He should have had video. Underwater robots to measure Antarctica climate threat. Now this one. Oh, Zimmerman was the guy I was talking about. Trayvon, he killed Trayvon Martin. Underwater robots to measure Antarctica climate threat. So they're going to stay there all the time. They're going to be unmanned robots. And they're going to be monitoring the climate under the glaciers. Which is pretty cool. And last story here is let me see here. I think I got it here. Where is it? So hopefully it loads. This one was pretty funny. Yeah, pretty funny, but very serious at the same time. I think I got it. Let's see. Where is it? I just saw it right now. If I can't find it, I'll just describe it. It looks like I'm just going to describe it. basically the monkeys they cloned like 2 days ago. It showed like one was like looking outside and then just all of a sudden bolts up the other one for no reason. Could be a sign that human cloning may breed aggressive anger traits, you know, so could be a sign right there. I notice everything, you know. I am the master of signs. And not just me. We all can be the masters of signs. Okay, let's see here. So now that we finished that part of the news segment, we'll go ahead and meet the music now. It's always the best time to meet the music. Okay, so now getting to the topic of today is, like I said in a previous video, based on February 15th, I believe, 2009, they hoaxed a face on an asteroid, and where was it? In Austin, Texas. They hoaxed a face on an asteroid in Austin, Texas, you know, and it was coming down. And the reason I know it's a hoax is because there's someone running in the marathon with the wooden sign strapped to his forehead that goes up, and it says, "Look up." And he's running like an idiot, you know, running like an idiot with the stupid sign strapped to his forehead. And then I believe his shirt also says "Look up." And then there's like this other guy, and he to the side, and he points at the sky right when it starts coming down. Like before it even appears, he points to it, like clearly showing proof that it's a hoax. You know, so that was in February 15, 2009. So in February 15, I believe 2013, I said that a meteor would hit. Now, I said a meteor would hit the moon, and it was based on an apparition I saw the night before, of what looked like the crescent moon, and then to the side of it was like this orb, and it kept going back and forth like this, like it was looking like it was about to hit it. So I was thinking, okay, God's saying a meteor is going to hit the moon. And so I put it on Facebook. I didn't put it on YouTube, but I put it on Facebook. And I'm going to post that video soon on YouTube. And I had made a prediction saying the next day that something is going to hit the moon, that a meteor will hit the moon. Now, the next day, it didn't hit the moon, but it did hit Russia. That was the one, Chernobyl, where it went in and landed into a frozen pond. I believe this was around the winter of 2013. And I had predicted it. Not knowing it was going to be Russia, thought it was going to be the moon, but I had predicted it. And the proof is there on Facebook. You can backtrack the time. All you got to do is go to my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/user Gabriel. I'm not sure how it is. It's facebook.com/user/Gabriel or youtube.com/Gabriel. I believe you can put youtube.com/Gabriel and it should find it. And in the search on my page, just click in and click where it says Meteor Russia. Just click those two words and it'll bring up the post I said, you know. So I had predicted that. That it was going to be the moon, and it turned out to be Russia. And like I said, God sent that as a sign for Putin to repent. And it seems to me that he still hasn't repented, you know. So let's see here. So getting back to the meteor, it's my theory also that I'm going to make that more are going to start coming. I don't know when. Maybe again, February 15th of this year. I don't know where. Maybe somewhere in the world. But I'm also going to start the first apparition summon in my backyard on February the 15th. So I hope something great happens. I hope Jesus and God reveal something amazing, a powerful sign over the skies in El Paso, Texas on February 15th, and over the world on February 15th. So it's all based on that time, you know. They had the nerve to hoax something blasphemous like that. So I'm fighting back, you know what I mean? I'm responding, you know. And, you know, this time the tables are turning, you know. So now that we got rid of the news segment, I pulled up this article here and basically talks about more meteors that are happening, you know. And first we'll start off with this one here. NASA space data supports citizens' observation. Meteor fireballs are increasing dramatically. Now, not just meteors, a lot of other things are increasing. U.f.o activity is increasing. Paranormal activity, people are seeing more ghosts happening. Is spiking since the beginning of this year. So, you know, since the beginning of this year, January, there's been more activity of people seeing ghosts that hasn't happened in the previous years, which could mean that Jesus could be returning this year, which I really do believe he is, because the facts, the science that backs it up are, you know, paranormal activities picking up. People are seeing more ghosts. People are seeing more UFOs, more apparitions. And yes, there are more fireballs coming in, more meteors. Now, these meteors are not going to hit and injure or kill people. They're just going to wake people up. You know, they're going to be signs. They're going to be breaking up in the sky. They're going to be happening everywhere. You may see it in your own city. You know, look at this one. This one exploded above Bangkok, Thailand on November 2nd, 2015. Look at this. That one right there. Isn't that something? Now look how big it is compared to the building. See that bright white dot? That's the meteor. That's pretty big. Now another theory I have is maybe these are not actual meteors. These could be what I call asteroid apparitions, which means they look like real meteors, but they are spiritual meteors. They are spiritual, which means they may not be physical objects. People think they look like physical objects, but maybe what we're seeing here are apparitions. They look real, but maybe they're just in spirit form, which means it will never pose a risk of hitting at all. So people don't have to wonder, is God breaking the asteroids up in time? Maybe they might not be real asteroids. Maybe these are a form of an apparition. One theory that backs up that also is in El Paso, I believe, 2014, around there, in El Paso, Texas, at night. I believe this was in the summer. There were 3 orbs that one was falling and it split into 3, and then all of a sudden they stopped in midair, and then they were staying there for a while, and then they started going like that, forming a straight line. Now they had the nerve to say that was caused by the Golden Knights parachute team. That is such hogwash, because if that was parachuters, they would have been floating and they would have started falling down little by little. These were hovering in midair and weren't falling. So for them to tell us that lie, that it was parachuters, it gets on my nerves. People will do anything to suppress the knowledge and information that apparitions are appearing. They don't want the people to know the truth. So they pay people off to lie about it. You know what I mean? And it's getting crazy, man. It's getting really, really crazy. So There's going to be more meteors breaking up in the sky, but don't fear. My theory is they are not real meteors. They are apparitions of light to make it look like there's something physical object there, but there is no physical object. It is just an apparition you may be seeing. So don't take any fear at all that it's going to hit. Don't be afraid, not even 1 second. Because know that God is in control of everything. Does God let the planets go off orbit? No. Does God let the sun give out? No. Does God let certain things like that happen? No. People say, oh, well, why does God allow tsunamis and earthquakes? It's hard as a Christian to argue with that. We as Christians say, well, that's the fault of the earth. Literal, earthquake faults, So it's hard for us to argue with that. We have to say to atheists and agnostics who question that and say that it's because of stuff happening on Earth. It's very complicated. They say, well, why doesn't God fix that? Why doesn't God just return them? That's what they say. And it's very hard to argue that. We as Christians, we have no answer. We can't say, oh, it's because God allows it because of free will. Then they would say, well, why doesn't God allow the planets to go off orbit or the sun to blow up in free will? So it's very hard to argue that. But me as a Christian, I believe that though God allows some things to happen, not everything, and it's beyond our power to question God. We have to love him no matter how angry we may be at times at God. I felt, not anger, but I felt, let down by God sometimes, saddened, But, we as Christians, we have to be steadfast. And instead of seeing the doom and gloom of everything, we should take great joy that Jesus is returning. And I believe it is this year. So many signs. When in my previous videos, I heard an EVP that said, I just noticed this, my battery's about to go. I forgot to plug it in. Got to plug it in real quick. Good thing I noticed or else the show would have went out. That was a close call. That was a close call. I got to remember that next time. So, do not be afraid at all, wondering if a meteor is ever going to hit. Because God is in control. Though that one did hit Russia and it shook everything, caused a boom, and people felt it. That one maybe was a real one, But isn't it weird how it went into a frozen pond, right into the water? It didn't kill anyone. It didn't damage any buildings. It hit a barren land. Isn't that interesting? So God has power to lessen the effects of natural disasters, including tornadoes, tsunamis. Now, I know tsunamis are one of the worst natural disasters out there, way bigger than any tornado can be, because a tornado just hits one small part and keeps going. A tsunami, it wipes out everything. You hear of hundreds of thousands of people. Over 400, 500 people, in Sri Lanka, like that, passed away in a tsunami. And then a lot of times they don't know these tides are coming. It just happens so quick. They're triggered by earthquakes. So everyone knows that if there's an earthquake, and if you're by water, you always have to take that precaution that a tsunami may come. And maybe here's where, what's that word called? Here's where the judgment comes in. The government of Sri Lanka and other places where tsunamis happen, if they don't issue warnings after a powerful earthquake, then the judgment is on them. It is their job to warn the people after earthquakes happen, that those who live near water, that tsunamis may happen. So they are held accountable for not warning the public of tsunami alerts. So they are in danger of the fires of hell. And if they do not repent, they may go straight to hell, because those people that died in tsunamis, their blood is on the corrupt countries, the corrupt governments. So that's where we as Christians have to see, okay, well, it is the corrupt people and the governments that messed up. They're the ones that messed up, not God. I know it's very hard for people to just quickly blame God, but we have to see the corrupt people are the ones that are really responsible. So let us not turn our anger to God, but let us turn our anger to corruption, people messing up, you know. So it's very serious, man, you know. So more meteors are coming. Let me see. Let's see here. Comparing 2016 to 2017, fireballs increased by 40%. 40%. That is a lot. Look at this. Here's a graphical chart. It shows 2005 has been almost kind of the same till 2010. Now, once you see 2010 come in, you start to see a change. The years are at the bottom, and what you're about to see is a far shot first. This is a graphical look on how it's been happening year by year. All these right here are from 2005 to 2010, and it starts to spike in 2010. Right here it says 2011, 2012, and you start to see it spike. Look at this. You can see the year right there, and you see it start to spike. Now, if you go all the way to 2016, you see it skyrocket. So this right here is a clear proof that God is trying to wake the world up through signs of meteors hitting, you know. And who knows, maybe meteors do need to hit certain parts of the Middle East to take out terrorists, you know. So I'm not saying for God to send meteors to strike and kill the terrorists, but if that's what God needs to do, then he needs to do it. Remember, it said in the Bible in Genesis that God was a vengeful God, and he would strike the wicked. So there is nothing wrong with God attacking evil, you know. So terrorism is a very serious subject, you know, and these terrorists need to be dealt with, you know. They need to be dealt with. So that's clear proof that the meteors are increasing. And I'll go ahead and get to this last story here. So even though it's a news story, it's still part of the topic today. And it's 8:53. We're going to cram at least 10, 15 good minutes in for EVPs. Asteroid warning. NASA discovers 10 potential hazardous rocks close to Earth. 10 potentially hazardous meteors. Now, people say, what's the difference of a meteor and an asteroid? Well, a meteor is smaller. An asteroid is bigger, way bigger. It takes about a whole bunch of these to equal one of these, you know. And the comets, they're like, I guess, maybe mid-size, but they're more rare. They come around once in every hundreds of thousands of years, you know. Comets are rare. But meteors and asteroids could come at any minute. They say if it comes behind the sun, astronomers won't be able to see it. So that's probably how Wormwood's going to come in, from behind the sun. Okay, let me see here. Let's see here. They're not giving any estimated dates on when they can hit. But NeoWise is a group that's looking into it. So if you want to Google NeoWise asteroid meteor, it'll give you more information. They identified 97 other space rocks seen an unexplained spike in comet activity as well. So comet activity is picking up as well. Man, I'm telling you, we shouldn't fear this at all. We should get so excited. It's such an exciting time we are in, man. People have long awaited Jesus' return. And we are at a time where we don't have to die to go to heaven. We don't have to have our relatives and friends die to go to heaven. We ourselves don't have to die to go to heaven. Jesus said, when I return, I guarantee you, you will not even taste death, is what Jesus said. So we won't even taste death. We won't even feel 1% of the pain, the fear of what death is like, you know. We're going to be transformed in the twinkle of an eye, man. So it's not giving any dates on when they're going to hit. There are currently over 600,000 known asteroids in our solar system. Can you believe it? 600,000. That is a lot, man. First asteroid was called Ceres, discovered by Gillespie Piazzi in 1801. Interesting fact. So 600,000 asteroids are in our solar system. Wow. Mind blown, yo. Most asteroids are found orbiting in the asteroid belt, a series of rings located between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. So that's where the most majority of meteors are. Well, because, you know, Saturn has its rings made up of debris. So there it is, you know. But Mars and Jupiter is where a lot of them are. You know how close we are to Mars. The ones that go near Earth are called near-Earth objects, NEOs. Okay. I wonder, could meteors hit during meteor showers? I think there's a greater rate. According to the group researchers, one of the fragments could hit Earth in 2022. So 2022, the year 2022. Or 2025, 2032, or 2039. Now this could happen sooner. This year. I'm telling you. This year, a whole bunch of meteors are coming in. A whole bunch. We're going to see a flood of meteors coming in. They're all going to be breaking up in the sky. And maybe there may be a bunch that hit the world too. But they're going to be in desert areas, you know. And the world is going to feel, everyone's going to feel this planet shake. And there is a theory of a global earthquake announcing Jesus' return. Waking the people up from their sleep. You know? Waking them up from their slumber. Okay, so that's basically it. Now we'll go ahead. Let me see what else to say real quick. Okay, some of these could be as big as a skyscraper building. That's pretty far out, man. Pretty amazing. So we'll go ahead and end the show out with a couple of EVPs real quick. We'll squeeze the EVPs into the show real quick. I always got to start the show with news and then half in the middle of the show talk and have the EVPs. It's the perfect format, you know, so we'll go ahead and dive right in, as I like to say. But we are not diving like in the hell. No, we are diving into the sky. You see, we are diving at a different angle. I got a funny joke today in regards to dinosaurs talking about meteors today. I thought of this joke. The meteors took out the meat eaters. Now I know I'm maybe not up for stand-up comedy. A lot of people may see it as a cheesy joke, but I thought it was cool. It's original. The meteors took out the meat eaters. Get it? The dinosaurs were meat eaters. I think that's pretty funny. I may fill the show with more jokes, but not too much. I don't want it to become corny or anything. I mean, I try to have this show, very fun. And sci-fi is always interesting. Everyone loves sci-fi, so it's the perfect format for the show. So we'll go ahead and do a couple of EVPs now. We need to have silence while we do this. What? Hold on. It said no spirits around. Try again. Okay. Let's try this again. Sometimes it does that. Sometimes it says it didn't hear anything. So we got on this phone. What does this mean? Jong, you juggle everything. Now get this. Jong, Jong, sounds kind of like Jong, like Kim Jong Un. Jong, Kim Jong Un. So maybe saying Kim Jong Un, you juggle everything. Maybe has too much on his plate. Kim Jong Un. I think that's the angels of heaven telling you better repent, man. Remember, you started this war with all your propaganda of your commercials of you nuking us all. So, hey, man, we're just blasting back. So this phone picked up the words growth, like something growth, born into, and then parkin, Parkinson's maybe, or park in a spot, bender, bender like Futurama. Is it bender? Maybe saying blender or better, mastery. Look at this word, death crash. Now, I've known people who have died in car crashes, man. It's very sad. So, what does this all have to mean here? Consultation. You consult someone, comfort them after a death crash. Inrot. So, we're seeing growth, parkin, bender, mastery, death crash, consultation, inrot. You know, It's like parables. You need to decipher it. So this one, Jong, you juggle everything. Mimi Kim Jon Un. We'll do one more and then we'll end the show out. And later on, this EVP section at the end of the shows are going to get even greater. I'm going to be summoning apparitions live to the world. I hope to have, hundreds of thousands of people all watching live at the same time. Big things happening, man. Us all summoning up apparitions here in El Paso, Texas. In different places, in parks, concerts, here and there. On the street. On Dyer, Mesa, downtown, Central, boom, I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. All of us, all in together, man. We're all summoning these apparitions. It's going to happen soon, man. So I'm telling you, get excited because big things are happening, man. Expect big surprises like Prophet Yahweh said. We'll go ahead and do one more and we'll end the show out. Man, it's so exciting, I'm telling you. Such an exciting time we are in, such a magical time. When God is about to show these great signs and mighty wonders, and not the deception that it talked about. The real ones from God. So we'll go ahead and do one more and then we'll end it out. We'll do it at the same time to see if these apps correlate to where they say the same things. Here we go. Okay, so this one we got is that, wait. I said, are you Javier? That's true. Or something like that. Because the words are Javier, you, that's true. So is it saying, are you Javier? That's true. So who knows what that one means? And on this one we got dead bike. That's weird because the previous one said crash death. Was it crash death or let me double check. It wasn't dead crash, was it? Death crash. So this one said death crash. This one's saying dead bike. That's weird. Dead bike, orcin, separated, freight, pickerel. Now, what are you separating from the freight? Pickerel sounds like pickles. Okay, so you're separating pickles from the freight. And there's a dead bike there. Orcin, the word orcin sounds like the extermination company. Orcin, where they exterminate bugs. but it's spelled different because I believe orcin is spelled ORKIN. I believe the extermination company, but this is ORCIN. So Orson, so Orson Welles, sci-fi writer. So we're having you're separating pickles from freight, and there's a dead bike of orcin exterminating insects. So who knows what all this means? You know what I mean? But it is interesting because we did get dead bike on this one, and we got death crash on the other one. So it's talking about something about death, you know. So maybe it's a sign that something karma may come to evil people or something. So you know, a lot of times it could be ghosts just talking smack. You know, sometimes they try threatening us, but we just laugh because we know that ghosts can't hurt us. You know, so we'll go ahead and end it on that note. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please tell everyone you know to like, share, and subscribe. I need all your help. Please spread the word. I beg of you all. God bless and good night.